Hey, welcome back to the Coffee House. I've got a nerdy one for you today. This is an interesting take. I'm trying to answer the question, how many certified Scrum Masters are out there in the world? Who cares, you might ask? Well, some of us enjoy knowing the answer to that question, but maybe you're one of them. But the reason I'm really compelled to make this video right now today is because I just got done teaching a class, and as I was wrapping up the class, I noticed that the Scrum Alliance recently updated their website. Nothing wrong with that. That's their prerogative. They make updates all the time. Not many of them am I fond of, and this is maybe one of those. I'm not too fond of the update, but again, it's their site, and we just kind of play by their rules, don't we? So what I'm going to do is show you on the website the change that they made and tell you how I got the number that I got. Fortunately, I was lucky enough, let's say, to capture some data just because I was curious. I captured some data on my own, and then just a few days later, they ended up making this change. So we're going to dive into that here today in the coffee house. All right, once again, a bit of a niche kind of a video, probably not to everyone's taste, but as I said, I was trying to answer a question that someone from one of my classes had posed. I figured, it's a reasonable request. Let's find out. Let's see what we can do. And so after the class was over, I did what any normal person would do these days. I asked ChatGPT, or a variant thereof, let's say. And the answers I got back, while reasonable upon first glance, I wanted to go through and validate, the information that it said. So I'm going to first show you that, and then we'll switch over and I'll show you what I did to take my exploration to the next step. So nothing that I'm sharing with you here is necessarily privileged information or anything. It's all commonly available information that you could find online publicly. We're going to look at the Wayback Machine. This was captured back in 2018, in March 23rd, 2018. In it, you will see it says that the Scrum Alliance was founded in 2001. This is straight off of their website. It says that they are the most established and influential professional website and certification organization in the Agile community. Check. We are a nonprofit association with certification offerings completed by more than 725,000 practitioners worldwide. 2018, 725,000 practitioners worldwide. Now, this is more than just their CSM, the Certified Scrum Master certification. It's all of their certifications. Here's an updated page. This is the same website, the same web page, the About Us page, only this is from about a year and a half later, September 28th, 2019. And you'll notice right off the bat, it has that same sentence, founded in 2001. We're the most established and influential professional website and certification organization in the Agile community. Our nonprofit association has certified more than 750,000 practitioners worldwide. So a year and a half later, the number has grown by about 25,000. So if you do the math, you can probably come up with an estimate based on how many more years have gone by since 2019 until today, 2025, 6 years. So maybe by now, I'm just guessing, this page has not been updated, that number has not been updated since 2019. It might be around 850,000, perhaps more, maybe over a million even. In fact, that's what the AI tools were telling me. They were guessing it might be around 1.1 to 1.2 million overall certifications from the Scrum Alliance. That is not saying how many certifications are active, because as with most certifications, you need to renew your certification in order to have an active status. Renewal might include, in this case, completing some number of Scrum educational units, SEUs, as well as paying an annual fee of about $100 in the case of the Scrum Alliance as of 2025. Now, the AI agents were telling me, based on trends and how many people typically recertify, it might be somewhere around 60 or 70%. Well, to answer that question, I had to go to the Scrum Alliance's current website and check out the membership directory. Keep in mind, I did this last week. So now today, when I was teaching my most recent class, and I do this exercise at every class, I want to show my students how they should best update their profile. I mean, put your LinkedIn address in there, if nothing else, is what I say. The other reason I like to share this with my students is because, I want to highlight the fact that for every 20 CSMs, there's only one A-CSM. And typically during my class, I would show people, I would highlight, I would pick a state, a US state at random, probably one of the states that one of my current students was in. Someone's from North Carolina. I pull up North Carolina and I show them, and I ask them, how many CSMs do you think are in the whole state of North Carolina? Maybe it's a few thousand, right? And then I say, okay, how many A-CSMs are there? And I do the mental math, 5% of that number, and I'm in the ballpark. Surprisingly, I'm like really, that number is really accurate. So I'm going to share with you here again, this is the public website for the Scrum Alliance. You can see here it has a menu bar at the top, and if you hover over it, you can find the Certified Members directory. That's what I'm hovering over here. Find Certified Members. Now, I click on it. This was so disappointing this afternoon when I clicked on it and found that they've updated their website. Yeah, I get it. It's their site to do with what they want. However, most of the changes here, I'm sure I'll come around to enjoying it. Maybe I'm just undergoing an initial shock or something at it, but I'm not all that excited about the changes. There are so many things that they took away. So for example, you can see if I do select USA, I do not have the option to select a state. In the past, you were given that option to fine-tune your results to, say, North Carolina or Florida or whatever it might have been. Gone. That ability is now gone. In addition, they allow you to choose a certification, which they had in the past. So I could choose how many Certified ScrumMasters, here we are in a given state. Now I can't search by state, but I can search by Certified ScrumMaster. You'll notice it doesn't give me a number of results. It used to, and if I scroll down to the bottom where the number was, the total number, now it just gives me this endless kind of list that is always updating. It's not as useful as the formatted list of like 20 per page. It would tell me first name, last name, what certification they hold, which was at a glance really, really useful. And in addition, if they provided their city, their geographic location within their state, and or their company that they're currently working with, it would display that information too. Now it does not. Rather, it has a nice profile picture of Jim or Doug or Dan and some of these other folks, but it doesn't give me any insight as to where they are or where they're working. Again, maybe not a deal breaker, but if I was a hiring manager, a recruiter, or someone who was looking to find a capable Scrum Master in this case, this doesn't give me a lot of options to work with. Now again, when I was using the older version, which by the way is not available on the Wayback Machine, check it out. When I go to the membership directory, it says, this URL has not been archived. Sad, isn't it? I can't use the Wayback Machine to go back and do this math. However, I've got something for you. Here is the Microsoft Excel sheet. Yes, I'm a nerd, that I created when I was running my math. As you see, I went through each of the states in the United States, and for each state I counted, or I retrieved the count of how many CSMs there are to how many A-CSMs. In the case of California, there were too many CSMs, so it would not give me an accurate count of how many CSMs there were. So what I did was I estimated. I multiplied the advanced CSM number using that as only 5.3% so that I could arrive at 10,500. Again, just an estimate for California. Same thing for Texas and Virginia. Virginia had just over 550 A-CSMs, which I just rounded to, or just assumed was 10,000 even. And for Texas, it was 746, which I applied the 5.5% or whatever it is to achieve this 13,500. But for every other state, including some of the really popular ones, such as Florida, Florida had 94,006 CSMs, which is just under that 10,000 limit, and it had 457 A-CSMs, which is 4.9% of the overall CSMs. You following me there? So I did that for all of the U.S. states. What did I find? Again, just 3 states had reported more than 10,000 CSMs in the state. So these numbers are going to be off by a little bit, but just for those 3 states, the A-CSM count was legit. I went through each of the 50 states. I also included the District of Columbia. I did not include Guam or Puerto Rico or any kind of other areas. But here you'll see, for the entirety of the United States, as of mid-March 2025, there are 136,000 CSMs and only 7,452 A-CSMs. And again, the math on that says that's about 5.45%. So just over 5%, 5.5%. And that's the number I use to calculate, to guesstimate the CSMs for those 3 large states. So that's the US. Now, the United States is by far the country with the most certifications. I mean, Scrum is widely used across the United States. Well, I went through each country and I did a similar activity, not with every country, but the more recognizably large countries, let's say. And what happened was, for the UK, there were only 550 A-CSMs. And so again, multiply that, or use the 5%-ish rule for that, 5.5%. And I got 10,000 as a rough guess. So significantly less than the United States. But there was one other country that had more than the UK and less than the United States. India. India reported having 1,900 A-CSMs. And again, extrapolating on the math, I've guessed it's somewhere around 40,000 CSMs. So 40,000 for India, another 10,000 for the UK, 136,000 for the US. In the other countries outside of the US, the UK, and India, there are another 74,000, roughly. But nonetheless, when you add all of those numbers up, you get a grand total of about 260,000 active CSMs worldwide. That's a far cry lower than the 60% of 1.1 million or whatever those AI agents were telling me. So according to my math, 250,000 active CSMs, there's your bottom line. In spot checking, again, the old version of the membership directory would list 20 names and then have their certifications, and most of them only said CSM. Very occasionally, 22% of the time, it would say CSM, CSPO, the Certified Scrum Product Owner. Now, that's the second most popular certification on the Scrum Alliance webpage. Occasionally, it would be CSM and A-CSM, or CSM and CAL, or something along those lines. 22%. 22% of people with any certification had 2 or more. 4.4% had 3 or more. So if you've got any certifications from the Scrum Alliance, if you've got 3 certifications from the Scrum Alliance, globally, you are 1 out of 20 people. You are 1 out of 20 who's gotten a basic CSM, who's gone and gotten 2 additional certifications. Another way to say that is if you've gotten your CSM and your CSPO and that's it, you're like 1 out of 5 or so. 22% of people have gotten 2 certifications. 5% of people have gotten 3 or more. Is this useful at all? I mean, I don't know about you, and I know I've gone on way too long on this video, but I was just really excited to find this information out and share it with you, document it for kind of posterity, if you will. But there you go. In terms of how many CSMs there are worldwide, my answer is somewhere around 250,000. If you are one of those CSMs, congratulations. And if you're looking to advance your certification status to Advanced Certified Scrum Master, let me know. Reach out to me. I'm happy to provide discounts. Visitors to my YouTube channel have noticed that I offer the coffee promo code to give you 10% off any of my classes that I offer, and it's primarily the Advanced Certified Scrum Master class, but I do occasionally offer the CSM, the Certified Scrum Master. In addition, I am now looking forward to offering some of the micro courses, the micro credentials, specifically AI for Scrum Masters and Lean Software Development. Those are the first 2 that I'm going to be offering here sometime probably in early May. I'm going through the materials now, getting familiar with the content, and I'm eager to share that with you. Whatever I learn, I will double check my results and put that out there for you. So until next time, and as always, enjoy your coffee with friends.